Hello, I'm Nicolas Larousse, and I'm going to present the long-term preservation of TI corpora. This paper was written with Michel Jacobson, and we both work at Humanum. So what is Humanum? Humanum is an infrastructure in France dedicated to the research communities in humanities, and we provide services, classical services for an infrastructure like storage, like tools for process data, web hosting and virtual machine, and also some services at the right of the schema, which are more dedicated to share data, like repository, which name is Nakala, an aggregator of metadata, which name is Isidore, and a long-term preservation service. This is the point today, and it's based on the CNES platform. What is the CNES? The CNES, it's a computing center, and yeah, it's like a mission to preserve also the research data. They began with a thesis in PDF, and now they accept more formats thanks to Humanum, and we are going to speak about that. So we use the platform of the CNES. So what do we do concretely at Humanum? Humanum, we act as a go-between communities in humanities and CNES. We support them to help to put their corpora in the shape, in the right shape to be put on the CNES platform. And also we have another role if the CNES doesn't take into account the format, we are going to support CNES and to exchange with CNES and communities, always the go-between job, to incorporate the new format on the platform of the CNES. We have done that for the 3D format, and of course for TI. This is the thing that we are going to speak about in this presentation. We also do a liaison with archivist community and legal entities in France, because the archive is the state. And last but not least, we pay for the preservation. About TI, a lot of resources from research data in France are using TI encoding. So sometimes it's directly for the corpus, sometimes it's for side files like annotations or transcriptions. But this is a huge amount of work to encode in TI, and so we think that it's a good idea to preserve it and to preserve it for the long term. So what is to preserve things for the long term? A possible definition is to make resources usable, reusable in the future by someone who was not involved in the creation. So this is a goal, a general goal. So how do you reuse, how do we be able to reuse resources? You need to understand the document. So you need to be able to read it and to understand it on a semantic, well, to understand what is in the document and to understand what it is about. At CNES, you have computer scientists, like in a normal computing center, but you also have data archivists, and they take the responsibility to ensure that the digital format or the digital information in general will be readable. So for that, they need and they want some tools, some documentation, and they are doing some surveys, and they are doing about format, the evolution of format, to be sure that it will be readable in the future. What we propose for the TEI specifically, to have a syntactic validation, which is quite easy in TEI because it's an XML-based format, but we want to go beyond this validation. And also we want to have a description of the process of creation from the corpus. We can, when you build the corpus in TI, you choose some tags and you choose to use them in a certain way to describe certain objects, part of the object, for instance. And you can do that in the TI world by using what they call a NoDD, one document does it all. And of course, but it's not specific to TEI, but it's very important in the TEI case. We want to have some additional information of the context of production of the corpus, for instance. even something like the application for fundings and this kind of thing, and what the corpus was done for, and this kind of extra information. Generally speaking, when you prepare your corpus for the long-term preservation, that leads to an improvement in data, in quality, sorry. And generally, it's because you have more requirements on the technical, scientific, and documentary level. And this is also because we impose some constraint. What kind of constraint do we impose for data producer, for TI data producers? We impose, of course, that their corpus, their corpora in TI should be conformant to the TI. So you have guidelines, extended guidelines in TI for that, and you have schema. We also impose to have the description of the modeling of the corpus with an ODD file. So it's very, there are not a lot of ODD files in so many projects. And we also impose a general documentation of the process. And last but not least, we also impose that in UTI files, you have no encapsulated object like MEI or MathML things, for instance. So you need to reference an external file. And then, of course, if you reference an external file, you need to provide it to be able to check it. And then you put that on a package that you are going to put on the CNES. And the CNES use a model for its platform. It's a very classical model, which name is OAIS, Open Archival Information System. It's a very simplified schema of this model, but basically you have 4 entities: producer, an archive, a management of the archive, and a consumer. For the producer, is going to provide a package, which name is submission information package. And in our case, it will contain TI's files and all the files that we mentioned in the slide before. What CNES, which is the management in that case, is going to do some verification of the package. And if it's okay, is going to create a certificate that proves that the data is on its platform, and the certificates, it's called an archival information package that gives some information to the producer. And also, when the responsibility is taken by the CNES, you need to, of course, maintain availability and understandability of the data and make information available for future consumers via what we call a dissemination information package. So you have different packages which represent different states of the workflow, and this is how it works. About the producer, they need to build a submission information package. So we design a specific submission information package for the TI. So you can see, yeah, you have mostly 3 big sets of information: the TI files, of course, the Lincoln files, we already spoke about that, and general documentation for the package, for instance, the rendition of the TI files in PDF or in HTML, additional information about the TI file, for instance, the order of TI files can be expressed in METS format, for instance, free text, and so on. And of course, you need to have the famous ODD file, which describes all the process. What kind of checks do we implement in the CNES platform? So first, we check the existence of the ODD file. We validate all the TI file against the TI schema. That means that it's TI. We validate all the TI file against an ODD file, against a schema generated from an ODD file, the famous ODD file. That means that it's a schema targeted at your corpus. So you are sure that you are consistent within your corpus. And of course, we check if you have linked file, we check if they exist in the package, and we validate them. And last, we need to validate all the files that we use for the extra documentation mentioned before. So where are we now? The implementation was finished 2 years ago, and now we can consider it's quite stable because we have 3 projects in production, the 3 different projects. The first one is TEI for books from Open Edition. The second one used TEI just to describe medieval manuscripts. And the first one is used to describe oral transcription of linguistic resources, for instance. And also, after long, they have a newspaper, an archive of a newspaper encoded in TEI, which is a linguistic resource. So you can see that there are different flavors of use of TEI, which is quite normal in that world. What do we need to do now? We need to provide documentation for future producer of TEI. Again, we are going to do that based on the experience gained with this 3 project, and we also process of implementing TEI in the CNES. And of course, we imposed, as you saw, we imposed a lot of constraints. Maybe we are going to release some constraints to be able to integrate the different needs of TEI producers, because as I said before, there are a lot of different use of TEI, which describe different objects and for different purposes. And last but not least, we also need to be sure that all TEI's tools, especially tools dedicated to ODD files that we use extensively in our process, should be maintained by the TEI consortium, and we have a lot of discussion with them about this subject. Thank you for your attention.